While ESPN analysts labeled Alabama a second-tier team, Kalen DeBoer quietly closed the gates in Tuscaloosa and wiped the entire depth chart clean. No guaranteed starters, no seniority. To the outside world, this looks like panic, a program desperately searching for identity in a post-Saban era. But why would a head coach strip away every safety net just days after the media wrote his obituary? Before we advance, subscribe to the channel right now and tell us in the comments where you are watching from. There is a much larger game being played behind closed doors, and the SEC is looking at the wrong piece on the board. When sports networks like ESPN and former Crimson Tide quarterback Greg McElroy publicly demoted Alabama to a Tier 2 team heading into fall camp, rival fan bases across the Southeastern Conference celebrated what appeared to be the final collapse of a college football dynasty. For months, national reporters insistently pushed a narrative of vulnerability, claiming that without Nick Saban's iron fist, the program in Tuscaloosa would crumble under the weight of modern NIL demands and transfer portal chaos. But have you ever wondered why a program with unmatched championship pedigree would allow its rivals to believe it was on the brink of total disaster? To understand what is truly happening inside Saban Field at Bryant-Denny Stadium, one must look closely at the precise timing of Kalen DeBoer's latest declaration. Immediately following the media barrage that projected Alabama to finish an unprecedented 6th place in the SEC media poll, DeBoer made a move that sent shockwaves through the entire college coaching fraternity. He announced that absolutely no position on the roster was secure, effectively stripping starting roles from established veterans and high-priced recruits alike. The national press quickly framed this as a sign of desperation, a coach completely unsure of his starting quarterback between system veteran Austin Mack and 5-star prodigy Keelon Russell. Yet, when you analyze reporting from verified outlets like Yardbarker, The Athletic, and official press briefings from SEC media days, a far more tactical picture begins to emerge. Framing this open competition as internal weakness is precisely what DeBoer wanted the college football world to do. By allowing the sports media to obsess endlessly over a public quarterback duel, DeBoer successfully erected a massive psychological smokescreen over Tuscaloosa. While every sports talk show host argued over arm talent versus playbook familiarity, who was actually paying attention to the seismic shift quietly occurring in the trenches? The reality of modern sports journalism is that drama generates clicks, and a falling giant sells far more headlines than a stable empire. When major networks published predictions putting Georgia, Texas, and LSU comfortably atop the conference, they didn't just report news. They handed Kalen DeBoer the most powerful psychological weapon in sports history: pure, unfiltered disrespect. In a locker room full of world-class athletes, being told that your era is over before the first meaningful snap of August is played creates an explosive level of internal unity. Was the media simply reporting on Alabama's transition, or were they inadvertently fueling the single biggest revenge tour the SEC has ever witnessed? Consider what took place behind those closed practice gates while the national media was looking the other way. Rather than funneling all resources into public relations and flashy hype packages, Alabama quietly executed a massive overhaul along its line of scrimmage. Under the direct supervision of former NFL offensive line coach Adrian Klemm, the program brought in 11 physical enforcers through the transfer portal and top-tier recruiting classes. This wasn't just a routine depth chart adjustment. It was a deliberate, calculating return to violent physical football designed specifically to counter the spread offenses currently dominating rival SEC programs. Simultaneously, something extraordinary happened on the defensive side of the football that sports networks almost completely ignored. Senior defensive leaders like Bray Hubbard and Keon Sabb received eye-watering multi-million-dollar NIL transfer offers from aggressive rivals seeking to gut Alabama's secondary. Instead of taking the easy payday and joining programs hyping up instant championship runs, both players chose to stay in Tuscaloosa under defensive coordinator Kalen DeBoer. Why would elite defensive backs willingly turn down generational wealth to remain at a program the national media claims is falling apart? The answer lies in a pact made inside that locker room, a shared understanding that the outside world had completely misread Kalen DeBoer's quiet demeanor. Unlike coaches who rely on loud media appearances and theatrical press conferences to build hype, DeBoer operates with a silent, calculating precision that worked wonders during his undefeated run to the national championship game with Washington. He understands that in the modern era of college sports, public hype creates dangerous complacency, while silence builds an uncontrollable hunger. Could it be that the media misinterpreted DeBoer's stoic composure for a complete lack of control? Look at how rival programs responded to the illusion of a weakened Crimson Tide. Coaches at Kirby Smart's Georgia and Lane Kiffin's Ole Miss built their off-season strategies under the comfortable assumption that Alabama was entering a protracted rebuilding phase. They allocated millions in NIL funding towards skill position vanity recruits, believing that the path through the SEC no longer required surviving a 40-minute fistfight in the trenches against Alabama. They assumed DeBoer would try to copy Saban's exact playbook and fail, completely blind to the fact that DeBoer was building an entirely new system customized to exploit their specific defensive weaknesses. This is where the genius of declaring every job open becomes undeniably clear. In traditional programs, naming a starting quarterback early provides temporary public stability, but it also risks breeding complacency among secondary units. By forcing Austin Mack and Keelon Russell to compete for every single first-team rep in front of their teammates, DeBoer established a culture where reputation, recruiting rankings, and past production mean absolutely nothing. When a five-star freshman sees a returning senior fighting for his football livelihood on every play, the entire intensity of the fall camp elevates to match-day levels weeks before kickoff. Did you notice how quiet the reports coming out of Tuscaloosa have been compared to the constant media leaks from rival SEC camps? While other programs hosted flashy media access days and daily social media campaigns, Alabama locked its practice doors and imposed a strict cone of silence. The details of scrimmage stats, internal timing metrics, and red zone packages remain completely hidden from rival scouts and journalists alike. In an era where every team broadcasts its daily progress on Instagram, Alabama chose absolute stealth, leaving rival defensive coordinators completely in the dark regarding what scheme they will face in Week 1. Furthermore, the narrative surrounding the quarterback competition itself has been completely distorted by external commentators. Analysts claim that having two distinct styles of quarterback, Mack's surgical understanding of DeBoer's passing concepts versus Russell's game-breaking athleticism and arm talent, creates internal division. But former coaching staff insiders suggest the exact opposite. Having two elite passers capable of executing entirely different offensive packages forces opposing defenses to prepare for two separate game plans every single week, doubling their film room workload and creating massive tactical fatigue. When you connect the verified news reports of Greg McElroy's Tier 2 comments, the arrival of NFL-caliber line coach Adrian Klemm, and the sudden lockdown of fall camp practices, the truth becomes undeniable. Alabama did not fall from grace. They simply stepped out of the spotlight to build something far more dangerous. The national sports media wanted a dramatic story about the fall of an empire, and Kalen DeBoer gave them precisely the script they wanted to see, all while quietly constructing an unstoppable physical machine behind the scenes. As kickoff approaches, The disrespect aimed at Tuscaloosa has transformed from a media talking point into the foundational energy of the entire 2026 season. The players know that every pundit who voted them sixth in the SEC will eventually have to sit in front of a camera and explain how they got it so terribly wrong. The trap has been set, the locker room has been hardened by fierce internal competition, and the SEC is about to realize that the Alabama Crimson Tide never left the top of the mountain. How long can rival programs pretend they don't see what is coming out of Tuscaloosa? When the stadium lights turn on and the first physical collision occurs at the line of scrimmage, the illusion created by television studios will instantly shatter. The media wanted you to believe that Alabama was vulnerable without Saban, but they failed to realize that Kalen DeBoer was never trying to be Nick Saban. He was building something designed specifically to destroy the exact defenses built to stop Saban. Every drill in August, every padded practice, and every closed-door meeting has been meticulously structured toward one single outcome: absolute dominance through relentless physical execution. While rivals spent their summer celebrating off-season portal rankings, Alabama was in the weight room forging an offensive line that weighs an average of 315 pounds per man. Does that sound like a program operating in fear, or a team preparing to reclaim its throne with brute force? What makes this situation so compelling for true football fans is the sheer scale of the miscalculation by national analysts. They judged Alabama by what was lost, rather than evaluating what was being built in plain sight. They saw a quiet coach from the Pacific Northwest and assumed he lacked the toughness needed to survive the SEC meat grinder. But they forgot that DeBoer has won everywhere he has ever coached, boasting a career winning percentage that rivals the greatest names in college football history. By refusing to name starters, DeBoer didn't just challenge his players. He challenged the entire entitlement culture that has infected modern college athletics. Players at other schools post about their NIL deals and guaranteed starting roles, but at Alabama, you earn your helmet logo every single afternoon under the scorching Alabama sun. That level of accountability creates a locker room where players play for each other rather than individual personal branding. Isn't that precisely the missing ingredient that made Alabama unplayable for nearly 2 decades? Think about what happens when this team takes the field for its opening drive. The opposing defense will have spent weeks studying old Washington film and speculative practice leaks, completely unsure whether they are facing Mack's drop-back precision or Russell's explosive dual-threat playmaking. They won't know which blocking schemes Adrian Klemm has installed, and they won't know which defensive blitz packages Kane Womack will unleash. The element of surprise, long lost in the era of 24-hour sports coverage, has been fully restored in Tuscaloosa. This isn't just about winning games in September, it's about setting a standard that lasts for the next decade. If DeBoer succeeds in proving that internal competition beats off-season media hype, he will redefine how modern programs are managed in the portal era. The entire SEC is watching this experiment with a mix of fascination and underlying dread. What happens to the conference hierarchy if the team they declared finished turns out to be more dangerous than ever before? The answer to that question will not be found in television studios or sports blogs. It will be written on the field, yard by yard, drive by drive. The doubts, the low rankings, and the disrespectful commentary have all served their purpose. They built a fire inside a locker room that was already dangerous, giving a talented roster the ultimate chip on its shoulder. When the final whistle blows this season, remember who wrote them off and who saw the truth before anyone else. Did Kalen DeBoer actually stumble into a quarterback crisis this August? Or did the rest of college football fall headfirst into the most brilliant trap ever laid in modern sports history? The truth is written between the lines, and the answer will be delivered on the field with absolute brutal clarity. Make sure to subscribe to the channel right now, turn on your notifications, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. Is Alabama about to shock the nation, or is the media right about the SEC? Share this video with every Crimson Tide fan you know, and stay tuned as we continue to track every single breakthrough from fall camp.